calendar make you crazy every week? Do you wish that you just had some time to think and actually focus on some work? If so, join me for the third in a 3-part series on how we think about and manage our time. I'm Krista Smith, and I'm on a mission to help ambitious women thrive as leaders by sharing what I've learned and am still learning as an executive, a lifelong optimizer, and a beauty school wannabe. Let's get into it. The first step, even before you start your calendar triage, is to ask for purpose, intended outcome, and an agenda if it's available for any meeting that gets on your calendar. That way, you know exactly what it's for when you're stepping into it. Step number 2, start the Thursday or the Friday before the week on the calendar where you want to triage. This is really important because it's the respectful thing to do. If you're going to be changing any meetings on your calendar, it's reasonable to give people time so that they can make space and make thoughtful choices about their own calendars. So step number 2 is to start the Friday before. Step number 3 is to look at the week ahead and ask yourself, does this meeting even still need to happen? A lot of the times, things will get solved between when the meeting was scheduled and when the meeting actually happens, and it is overcome by events. There is no reason to have the meeting anymore. Next, in step number 4, can the meeting be delegated? Is there any reason that you absolutely have to be the person to attend the meeting? If it's the purpose of the meeting to go and gather information and have it so that it's awareness, oftentimes you can send somebody else. Trade off. Offer to cover something for them if they can cover this thing for you, if it fits better into your calendar. And then finally, if the meeting absolutely needs to happen, if you've determined that it's the right length of time and that you're the one that needs to attend the meeting, can the meeting be shortened? And this is step number 5. A lot of times we will schedule by default a 60-minute meeting because that's what the default is in the calendar scheduler. A lot of times meetings don't need to take an hour. You can do almost always in 45 minutes what you thought needed an hour, and sometimes you really only need 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And a pro tip on this one, if you need a little bit of space between your meetings and find yourself just in back to back to back to back all day long, you can set in Outlook a default mode that will end anything that's over 30 minutes, 10 minutes early, or anything that's under 30 minutes, 5 minutes early. And that might help you to build in the discipline of having some space between the meetings on your calendar. So, in conclusion, our 5 steps to doing a calendar triage are: first, make sure that anytime you accept a meeting on your calendar, there's a purpose, an intended outcome, and an agenda if it's available. Next, you want to make sure that you start the Friday before or the Thursday before so that you can give people the courtesy of being able to triage their own calendars if you're going to be making changes on the calendar. Third, ask yourself, does the meeting need to happen at all? Fourth, if the meeting does need to happen, are you the one to need to go? And then finally, if you're the one that needs to go and the meeting does need to happen, consider whether or not you can shorten the meeting. By doing this, you can create more space in your calendar. I would like to end this video with a quote by James Clear. He's one of my favorite authors and wrote Atomic Habits. This quote really helps us to think about how time is a budget, and we need to think about whether or not we're creating debts in our budgets or investments in our budget. And so the quote goes like this: saying no gives you time in the future. Saying yes costs you time in the future. No is like a time credit, and you can spend that block of time in the future. Yes is like a time debt. You have to repay the commitment at some point in time. No is a decision. Yes is a responsibility. So think on that quote. I hope that you enjoyed this content. If you did, like Subscribe, hit that notify bell so that you'll know when I drop new content every Friday. Share with your friends, and please let me know what you would like us to tackle together. Have a great week.